The leader of the SDP, William Clouston, who joins me now. William, great to see you. What is the key message of your campaign this year?
We're trying to offer the public what they actually want, because we agree with the majority of people on this. What do they want? They want affordable homes. They want a safe place to raise a family. They want a secure national border. And most of them want to end mass immigration. And because our views align, we're just offering them what people actually want.
Yes, and this is unfashionable for a party of the left, which people forget, the SDP. I think it's fair to say that it's sceptical about wokeism and extreme political correctness, traditional family values, perhaps small c conservative, but a party of the left nonetheless.
Yeah, but having some left-wing economics is actually a better fit for conservatism. The problem with the Conservatives are about to find out, and it's taken them about 30 years, is that hard market economics is not conservative at all. We've deindustrialized, we've gutted our industry, we've sold off all our utilities. People talk to us about this a lot. You know, most people don't want our water industry or our railways run by foreign states. It says basics, doesn't it? They don't want that. So actually our offer, I'm very, very confident I should be the happiest leader of any political party, because I speak to the public. Most of them already agree with us. That's the thing.
And what does success look like for you on July the 4th? Because let's not forget we have first past the post, which works against you. So what are you aiming for?
Last election we had 20 candidates. I'm hoping for over 100, which would be a big increase for us. If we get over 100, we get a party election broadcast, which we're working on, hoping that we get that. It's not sure.
I hear you've been in studio today.
Outside.
Is that right?
Yeah, no, and it'll take a bit of doing. If we get that, we'll make a major breakthrough, because people will see it and find out about us. Again, I'm very confident we do much, much better than we did last time. That's all you can do as a small party. We've also got key target seats. Rod Liddle, Middlesbrough South and East Cleveland.
Brilliant broadcaster and journalist, man of people.
Yeah, he'll do very well. Dan Whetstone, South Leeds, very, very well. You know, David Bettany, Donny North, very well.
Okay, well listen, let me ask my top pundits about what they think. Do you think, Claire, that smaller parties will influence the outcome? Because in seats where it's tight for the Tories or Labour, perhaps Reform UK, perhaps the Greens, perhaps the SDP could squeeze the vote.
I think it's really difficult because it takes a long time for a party to become encompassed in everybody's minds. Also, do you find it difficult with the administration and the amount of money? Because elections aren't cheap. Candidacy is not cheap. Is that something that you think goes against you?
It does. I mean, we could always do with more money, and we're funded by ourselves. And one of the advantages of the party is we're not in the pockets of the unions or the business. We are literally funded by our own members, which means we can say what's true. It's a major advantage.
I mean, are you essentially treading water until PR comes in, proportional representation?
No, because I mean, our model is like the Green model. We don't share all of their politics by any means, but the model, the building a party takes time, and you've got to have a base, and our base is South. One of them is South Leeds. Now, it took us about 4 or 5 years to take a big city council seat off Labour. These seats have never been anything but Labour, Mark. So we took one 3 years ago. We haven't lost one since. Took the first, took the second, took the third. That's what you need to build it up from the scratch, literally at the neighbourhood level almost. If you do that, you put down roots. You literally can go to the summit from there. It's very, very difficult. But
yeah, I mean, pro-industry, pro-Brexit, pro-traditional family values, anti-woke, pro-patriotism. Aren't you closet Tories?
Well, no, because actually on the economics, I did a hustings the other day in Hexham, and I was against 3 candidates, Green, the usual. I was by far the most left-wing on economics. I think these are basics.
And what would that be? State intervention?
State intervention in the housing market.
Government loans?
The big thing, people talk about the housing crisis. I know what people blither on about it. It's not about planning. It's about...
Blither on about it.
No, it's not about planning.
The terminology is quite...
No, it's not about planning. Right. That's the point I'm making. It's not about planning system. It's about the state capacity being ruined. Both Labour and the Tories ruined state capacity in house building. We will start that again. You've got to get the state back in the business. There's no good sitting...
But we know that house building is eye-wateringly expensive.
It is.
How are you going to pay for that? We can't borrow any more money, can we?
No, by taxing planning gain. At the moment, a greenfield site, it gets planning consent, and the massive increase in value all goes to the developer or the landowner. We're not greedy. We'll take half of that. The state will take half of that. 50%.
So
we would raise 8 billion and you'd house hundreds of thousands of British people.
Chris Wilde.
I mean, I've spoken to you briefly outside, and when you talk about a new party, I'm always concerned about my line of work, which is the care sector. Got 100,000 people, 150,000 young people going into care every year. It's not decreasing, it's increasing. No party's come up with a plan of action to do this. We've got an independent care review with some recommendations, and no party even wants to acknowledge that. More and more young people are taken to the streets, groomed into criminal organisations. We're seeing a catastrophe on our streets. As a leader of a new party, what would the answer be to that?
It's an old party, 1981.
One making its
we
waves.
want a national care service.
Okay.
Basically, Andy Burnham is right about this. And if someone's right in a different party, he's right in public transport as well.
Right.
You need a national care service. You've got to get rid of this chaos, basically, of patchy provisions, and the NHS does this bit, this local authority does this, and we're not getting a universal service for all citizens. Treat people on a par, create a national care service. That's what we need.
But that is all going to cost money. Where is that going to come from?
Well, it's going to cost about 6 or 7 billion, and you can't afford not to do it, and you can't afford not to.
But where's the cash coming from?
Well, we're going to tax it. We're going to tax multinationals.
Okay, so
we're going to tax multinationals who siphon profits off to Dublin. We're going to tax them on turnover here. We will raise the money for that easily by that route. But if you want to do something like this, if you want to build some houses, or you want to solve a care problem, people will say, wait, how are you going to pay it? A pandemic came along, they found 450 billion just like that. 38 billion.
Yeah,
Would you cut public spending?
No, I think the state is about. In the end, I've never argued for a massive state. I want a competent state, which is a different thing.
But it's massive already.
It's massive already because it's mopping up the blood, basically, of economic failure. I'm the only politician, I think, that talks about trade. We've got a massive trade problem. We've deindustrialized. We haven't had a surplus of trade in goods since 1982. That's the problem.
We can all agree that we want everyone to vote in the election.
Yeah.
If it's a smaller party, what would you say to somebody that supports the SDP, the Greens, Reform UK, or an independent, that it's a wasted vote? What would your answer be to that?
Vote for what you believe in.
Why?
And if you think, if you think that a smaller party, if you believe in the things that a smaller party believes in, it'll never become a bigger one if you don't vote for it. Yeah. And the other thing is, ask you the other question: Have we been well governed by these two parties? The answer is no. Everyone knows it.
Of course, they would defend their record, but William, enjoy yourself. It's a 6-week campaign. There's been no sort of sitting around. It's just straight into action.
Yep.
And so have fun with it. Are you any good at kissing babies?
Try. All
right. Do you know what you can do? Practice on Chris during the break. He's baby-like. Very lovable.
Young looks.
Very lovable, and he wears a nappy. Okay, listen, I will tell you that William mentioned a couple of candidates, which means that I will now tell you who the candidates are for Hexham, and it is Joe Morris, Labour, Guy Opperman, Conservatives. For the Lib Dems, Nick Gott, Nick Morfitt for the Greens, and William Clouston for the Social Democratic Party. In Middlesbrough South, Luke Meyer for Labour, Simon Clarke, Conservative, Gemma Joy, Lib Dem, Rowan McLaughlin, Greens, and Rod Liddle, Social Democrat. And Leeds South, Hilary Benn, Labour, Ed Carlisle, Green, George Sykes, Liberal Democrats, and Daniel Whetstone, SDP. Brilliant stuff. A fascinating conversation that was.